Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike Payne. I'm a session guitarist based in Nashville. In this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about wanting the gear that you already own. All right, so going shopping in your own closet, as we like to say. And we live in the golden age of gear, amps and pedals, effects, digital, analog, it's all out there, okay? And so easy to get caught up and lost in that world, and instead of focusing on this, right? So I wrote down just kind of 5 things that come to mind, 5 reasons really to be selective about the gear that we get, and not be as distracted. So the first thing that comes to mind, obviously, is just keeping the focus on the playing, right? Not on the online shopping. So easy to get lost online, and 30 minutes. I've been there. 30 minutes, sometimes more. Embarrassingly enough to say, passes by, and we think that we're going to arrive at this latest and greatest thing that's going to really improve our playing, and we usually don't, right? But the bummer part about that is we lose that time that we could have spent with the instrument. Playing, practicing, improvising, just learning more about the instrument. That's the first thing that comes to mind. The second thing is that it's good to learn more about the gear that you already own, right? To try to get the most out of it. Instead of looking for that new overdrive pedal, maybe you just go to your amp and turn it up. Or maybe you plug in the overdrive that you already own, turn the drive way down and the output way up, and turn it into a boost pedal. And turn the amp up, both, and see what that might give you. Something else that can be creative is taking a delay pedal, that I've actually got one here set up, and go to a really short delay time and turn into a modulation, right? So I've got an El Capistan here, and I'm just gonna I just came up with that right before the video, and I thought, well, I've never tried that before. That could be kind of a fun modulation effect, and sure enough, it's pretty cool. Learn how these things work, right? The volume, the tone. What happens when I dump the tone way off, and what happens when, what kind of creative sounds can you come up with just by using your volume controls? I've gotten to play with Jimmy Vivino a couple times from Conan's band, the band leader there, and the guy's amazing. He plugs straight into the amp, gets the tone he wants, and just plays amazing guitar with very little effects. And he uses all the controls on the guitar. He really knows how to dial in an amp, and he just doesn't need a lot. He just makes it happen. I love guys like that, and I respect that a great deal. So another thought that comes to mind is a lot of us have multi-effects boxes these days with effects that you can go in and program, and sometimes it's fun just to go in and have come up with new sounds, right? So on whether it's an M9 or a HX or a Eventide or a Mobius or something like that, you can go in, have fun creating all new sounds, and discover some things that maybe you weren't that you didn't know about before. And on and on and on we could go with this, but again, shopping in your own closet it can be really fun. So Okay, so where are we? So we're up to number 3 now, right? So as you're doing this, as you're learning your gear, as you're spending more time with the instrument, what ends up happening is you're building confidence. And you're going to take that confidence to your gig, to the studio, wherever you're at, because you've spent time with the gear you already have. You're going to have a much better feel for what it can do, and that's going to help build your confidence. Okay, so number 4. So by just focusing more on the instrument instead of online and all the shopping, it's obviously going to protect you from the dreaded gear acquisition, hard to say, gear acquisition syndrome, as they call it. And we all know what that is. And so, yeah, good to be aware and try to guard yourself from that. And these are all things, when I first started doing session work, I thought that I needed to buy up every piece of gear known to man. And while it is true that having sort of a well-rounded amount of gear is very helpful, and was and is very helpful when it comes to doing studio recording. And I'm talking about, having a hollow body maybe, and a Strat, right? A Tele, and maybe an oddball like a 12-string or a baritone, right? Just some flavors that help make the job, it helps what you are able to provide to the client when you show up, okay? And a great sounding amp. But in the early days, I just lost my mind in some ways, and I really got caught up in just buying a lot of stuff. And what happened was I was buying a lot, but I wasn't really digging into the nuances of everything that I was buying and getting the most out of it, right? So I've totally been there. I've had that gear acquisition syndrome thing. And, it's okay. You can recover from it. But, okay, so that was number 4. Number 5 is when you have the mindset that what you already have is fine, and you're able to do a lot with what you already have, then when it comes to purchasing something new, you tend to do it with much more like intentionality, right? So let's say I've got a gig coming up, let's say you've got a gig coming up, and you need a flanger pedal. Right? Flange is a very specific effect. So you're going to go out and find that one effect, purchase it, and done, right? And that way you're solving a very specific problem instead of getting lost in the weeds of the whole thing. So that's number 5. Just you're able to make better purchases, more thoughtful purchases, I should say. Okay. So in summary, I guess it's just all about kind of investing, the skill, into the skill, your own musical personality, and your musical growth, right? And so, yeah, those are just some thoughts. I know it's the Christmas season, and we're all, maybe jonesing for some new gear here at the end of the year. But keep these things in mind, and I hope this has been helpful to you, and in your journey as a guitarist. So thanks for tuning into this, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next one. And If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. All right, everyone, have a great day.